Hi everyone, welcome to the last lesson of Breakthrough Growth course. Today I'm going to talk to you about boosting. How can you boost your market influence and reach? It turns out that word of mouth is still the most effective marketing strategy for tech products to acquire new customers. It's almost twice than emails, not to talk about advertising, content marketing, SEO, and all of that stuff. Almost twice. So, how to stimulate the word of mouth? To stimulate the word of mouth, the most important tactic or strategy in this case is market the infrastructure. So, what is the infrastructure? The infrastructure is the infrastructure of players that we can find in any given market and any given segment. So if you have a look to this inverted pyramid, in the very bottom, we have you, your company, your product, and in the very top, we have the prospective customers. In the middle, we have a series of layers, and those layers are kind of players like industry associations, partners, luminaries and thought leaders, press and publications, that they influence from the bottom to the top with word of mouth mostly until eventually your innovation or your product reach the prospective customers. So and really, here's something really interesting. The 10% of the players in any given segment of a category, so if we know who are the 10% of players and we develop the proper programs to reach those players and stimulate the word of mouth, they will influence almost 90% of the market. So it's a really powerful strategy to develop a marketing infrastructure plan. What's the impact of the marketing infrastructure, of developing a marketing infrastructure strategy and execute it correctly? So first of all, we're going to influence the market. Remember, 90% is influenced by the top 10% of the players. And we're going to accelerate the market acceptance of our product. So that's the reason, because product marketing managers they need to focus a lot on developing plans with their marketing infrastructure and keep them updated. Secondly, is create a powerful moat, because this is a set of relationships and they talk with each other, and it's very time consuming, all of this. So this set of relationships develop a very powerful moat that it's really difficult to defeat. Is how you build brand, right? So lastly, this is the fast track to build a brand and develop market leadership. Market leadership, it's almost impossible to develop without the marketing infrastructure, because they are the ones that are going to talk about your product, and they are going to push your product to the very top, and is the way you can reach market leadership. And of course, if we have a look to the numbers, to your metrics, increase it return of investment in your marketing and sales investments, and reduce cost of customer acquisition costs. Now, how to market to the infrastructure? We have 6 steps. First of all, you need to create the infrastructure model for your product. That means going back to the pyramid and thinking, what kind of layers do you have, or tiers do you have, between the prospective customers and you and your product? Different industries, different segments, different markets, they have different number of players and layers. So you can have a market with just 4 layers in their infrastructure, and you can have another market with 15 layers in their infrastructure. So you need to first to create that infrastructure model, that pyramid for your market. Secondly, once you have that pyramid, you need to identify key market participants or opinion leaders in each tier, in each of the layers at your product's stage of adoption. What does that mean? That means that every layer you need to have between 2 and 5 different players that you can outreach. And depending on your product's stage of adoption, the players will be more, will be less, and will be different. It's not the same to have a product that we are marketing in an early market for early adopters or for innovation or for innovators, than a product that we need to market to the mainstream because the market category is in the mainstream, or we want to cross to the game to the mainstream. In that case, the key participants, they are more, let's say. So the more the more developed is the market, the more players we will have in our market, and the more work we will have to develop those relationships and to identify the key market participants. The third is understand their current perceptions. That means outreach them, interview them, and understand their perceptions about your product, and have an outsider perception about your product. The fourth is developing programs to build and reinforce the relationships. This is the fourth is very related with the fifth, which is communicate your differentiation around the key issues within the perceptions of those key market participants. Okay, what does that mean? What does 4 and 5 mean? That means that during your interview, you would detect some issues that these key participants are pointing regarding your features, regarding your intangibles, regarding how do you differentiate, regarding your positioning, regarding plenty of stuff. So take good note of that, and then develop internal programs to fix that, and to communicate again with these key players and say, hey, you remember this issue you had with our product? Now we fixed this with this and this and this, and this is our plan, and now this is our positioning, and now this is our differentiation, or wherever. And then you communicate with them, and you keep the relationships, you keep building the relationships. And of course, the sixth is continually reinforce the position that you have within their minds with evidence, because they are the ones that are going to position your product in the market by word of mouth. So keep giving them evidence about your position in the market. Keep reinforcing that message. Now, how do you reinforce that message? How do you show them what you are doing? Infrastructure marketing tools. Here you have a set of tools. I'm not going to go through all of them because there are a lot. But what you have to know, you can have a look at this, and then you can read this and have this as a kind of collateral for you. But the most importantly is, as always, we always base everything in the customer alignment life cycle, or the technology adoption life cycle, because different adopters of technology need different offerings, need different approach to your go-to-market. The same happens with the market infrastructure. The market infrastructure players that we will find in the late majority, we need different marketing collaterals, we need the different materials to gather their attention than if we go to the innovators. So for innovators, we will need technical articles, technical conferences, talking a lot about our core technology, going to trade shows, and doing for them technology demos. Instead, for example, in the late majority, they don't care about technology, they care about business and how to apply that to their business. So it's about comparing with other solutions, writing business articles, application notes, and having plenty of testimonials, and of course, advertising. And all of that materials that you can use to market your infrastructure is in harmony with the positioning. If you remember, one of our lessons was about positioning. Different messages, different market stages and different adopter profiles need different messages to position our tool in their minds. So the marketing materials that we will use to develop our market influence with the market infrastructure is in harmony with these different messages and positioning. Now, this is all about marketing infrastructure, but what if you are part of your marketing infrastructure? I strongly recommend you to do it. Being one of the key players in your marketing infrastructure as a thought leader or as a luminary. And that works like a charm. So for example, 3 examples. Here I have another tool or another business, which is startupbuilder.mba. It's about idea validation with a template. So what I do is I try to write about how to validate business ideas, and I have some articles in Medium, and then I go to Indie Hackers where my audience is, and then I answer questions about validation. So I'm trying to build a brand or a kind of thought leadership brand regarding idea validation to build trust about me. Because if you know about something and then you create a product, people will see this as a low risk, right? Remember, it's always about lowering the risk perception of your product. Lesson 2 of Breakthrough Growth. Then another example is Pep Laja. So Pep Laja, he is a thought leader or luminary in conversion optimization. And everything he talks about and writes about leads to messaging. Why? Because he launched a tool which is Winter, which is about testing messaging. And he's doing a great job doing that. And the third example is Rand Fisking. Rand Fisking is a thought leader in audience building. And by the way, helping others detecting their marketing infrastructure players with a tool which is Spark Toro. So he talks about detecting those players, understanding where is your audience hanging out, and how to reach influencers for your audience. And why? Because he launched this tool, Spark Toro, which, by the way, is the tool I use for my clients to develop the marketing infrastructure plan, and I strongly recommend you to use this tool. So yeah, he's a guy that is in their own marketing infrastructure, right? So now, what can you do today to accelerate your time to scale? First, define the infrastructure for your product. Secondly, test accuracy of your definition within your team, within your marketing and product team. Then identify the key participants and opinion leaders in each tier of your marketing infrastructure. And great tools to start are sparktoro.com and LinkedIn. List the perceptions of these key players regarding your technology, your product, your market, your company, how they position you. Define the key issues and an action plan. That means a communication plan to develop influence within those key participants. Then build and distribute content within those key participants and become a luminary or thought leader in your own marketing infrastructure. That was it. Thank you so much. It's been 6 lessons. It's been a lot of work, but I want to say thank you so much for listening to me to the end. It's been a real pleasure to share all of these strategies. I hope you found something real insightful that you can apply to your tech or to your SaaS. And one small thing I would like to ask to you is if you can share this course to help others, that would be really helpful for me. So please go to breakthroughgrowth.com or share this web. I think it is really beneficial to help others level up their product marketing strategy skills. Like, for example, founders, product marketing managers, product managers, and CMOs. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much. See you soon.